All right, good evening, everyone. It's Futures Brizio here. It's 8:40 p.m. Tuesday, February 11th, and just figured I'd jump in here and do a little live. Just trying to really practice getting this live stuff in um, and seeing how it goes. Just kind of trying to use the software. So appreciate you jumping on if any of you are seeing this, and if not, again, this will be posted on the channel um, as a recorded video because it's going to have some value even if no one's on the live. So let's just jump right in, and of course, as always, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're just finding it, and leave any questions and comments in the comments below if you're seeing this after the live, and just post the recording. All right. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things with Forex right now. So let's look at the yen pairs. So when I made the video earlier this evening around the market close, I was so let's look at dollar yen first. I was looking at this zone here, and you can see since then we've really just smashed right through there, and so we definitely have some weakening of the yen right now, and so this is pretty aggressive. This really, to me, is just suggesting that the yen is going to weaken, and we're going to see this uptrend now resume. If we go to the daily chart, or even better, the weekly chart, we can see pretty much what we've got here. We have this swing low that was put in on the high time frame, went up, made a new low, came all the way back down here, and now appears to be ending and the uptrend to continue. And so that is does appear to what's happening right here. I would like to see at least some kind of pullback before joining this, especially so during the Asian session. We do have dollar news tomorrow, I believe, too. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But if this is if that's what I'm seeing here in terms of the daily, weekly time frame, then I think dollar yen is just beginning a new uptrend. But we'll see what happens. I mean, theoretically, we could come all the way up to this area and then turn and go back down. But again, looking at the daily chart, weekly chart, it does appear that maybe we're turning to go to the upside. This is very aggressive price action. Okay. The Swiss yen is pretty much the exact same thing, although the higher time frames are not as are not as clear. We had this low put in here, price came up, put in a higher low, and then we had this failed higher high, and then we've come back down. So that's still a little bit of a conflict to me on the daily chart. And if we go to the that's the weekly chart. If we look at the daily chart, we do have this area up here, so we could still see price just kind of rally towards this area. So now we're on the 4-hour chart, and we could see price rally up towards this area, towards this zone, and then maybe go back down. So a potential trading opportunity on this, if you wanted to trade it long, would be to wait for a pullback and then trade it higher. But being aware that we do have a supply area or a resistance area, whatever you want to call it, up in this area. And so I would expect price to come up to at least maybe somewhere in the range of this large bearish candle right here, or maybe up into this zone. So what you have to remember is the yen is traded, has quite a bit of trading volume during the Asian session. It doesn't always carry over into the London and New York sessions. So even though we have this very strong price action now, I don't know if it's going to hold into tomorrow or not. The charts are suggesting maybe it would, especially on the dollar yen, but but we'll have to see. Again, here on the 4-hour Swiss yen, we had this move up. Now we could maybe consider that this right here is a lower high that's been a higher low that's been put in. And now we're going to, continue to go higher here. And this becomes our swing area right here. And so we'll keep an eye on this. I'm going to be very interested to see what this looks like tomorrow as we get into the London and New York sessions, crossover especially, which is about when I get in here, to see if there's any follow through on this or not. So, but I'm not going to try to catch a falling knife here, or chase this freight train up. There's no real way to enter this right now successfully because it's all just bullish candles. You really need to wait for some kind of pullback here to enter this. Otherwise, you're just chasing the market, and you're going to quite possibly face a retracement or a reversal during London. That's going to put you in drawdown. So I'm just going to leave it, and we'll see what it does overnight. And if these are new uptrends that are forming, they're going to have a long, long way to go. So there's no need to, jump on this right out the gate. Wait for the first pullback and then take it, because again, if this is going to start a new uptrend, then, again, we've got a long way to go to the upside. Okay. And looking at the pound US dollar, again, this is a little bit not very clear. Again, if the US dollar is strengthening, then this one doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I think right now, given what we're seeing in the dollar yen, that's being driven by weakness in the yen rather than dollar strength. So we jump over and look at dollar Swiss. We can kind of see perhaps a little bit more clear, but again, we've got a lot of whipsawing. We had this high put in, spike down low, back inside the range, failed high right here, back down to the low again, and then up again. So where is the actual truth right now? I don't know. And so if I don't know, I'm just going to leave it alone and let it play out. If we go to a 4-hour chart, which is my preferred analysis time frame, but I do like to look at the higher time frames. We do have this kind of swing area. It seems to be forming right now. So we'll see if that fails and we start heading lower. We do have another 4-hour swing zone sitting right about here. All right, so I think the US dollar is a little unclear right now, and that's causing some angst, at least for me. But there's no doubt, at least during the Asian session, that we have weakness in the Japanese yen. All right, and then lastly, just looking at pound Canadian, it's a lot like the pound US dollar. It's pretty much the identical pattern on the higher time frames. And if we look at the 4-hour time frame, we are coming towards this swing area here on the 4-hour. So again, I think the London session will tell us a lot tomorrow. I'm not really too interested in what this is doing during the overnight session. These are not Asian currencies. So whatever this does during overnight Asian session, again, I have no interest in. So we'll see tomorrow, once we get into, again, the London-New York crossover in particular. If we get a reaction off of this zone back down, or if we're going to smash through here. And then potentially look higher. I think if we get through there, I don't think this area right here will end up being much. I think this area's already been retested, with these candles. So if it gets through there, then, I think the upside target, a short-term upside target, is back to here. But if this fails and we start to get some bearish price action back down on the lower time frames, specifically maybe to take out this really weird looking 5 o'clock changeover candle right here, and we can clear this low, then we're definitely heading lower again. So again, we do still have bearish order flow on the 4-hour chart on the pound CAD, and arguably we still have bearish order flow on the daily from this high, and the weekly is really inconclusive. Excuse me. The weekly is sideways, so I don't think you can really gain too much from that. And so, that's what I'm looking at right now. Okay, so interesting, especially with the yen, if that weakness carries into tomorrow or if we get a reversal. And again, we do have dollar news tomorrow, so I think that's going to help give us some clarity on the pound US dollar and the dollar Swiss. So, all right, and then lastly on the futures markets, again, quiet overnight session, not much going on. In terms of natural gas, we do have a little pullback happening here on the in-between time frames. So overall, I'm still bullish. We have this kind of drifting lower consolidation, so we could get another push higher tomorrow on this. The DAX is very quiet right now too, and copper. I reviewed this before. We're back to this support level here on the 4-hour chart. So if we can break and clear these highs right here, then I think we'll continue the uptrend. At the same time, though, we did break structure, at least as a wick, came back into the zone. So if we come down and now take out this low again, then I think this area down here is a good first target down at this previous support level, down a little bit on the 4-hour chart. So that's kind of where things stand right now. And, we'll see how it plays out. I think, like I said, the session tomorrow, the London session, early New York session is going to be pretty pivotal to give us our next direction. I'm not going to try to pre-guess it. I've learned my lesson not to do that because, sometimes you're right and you look like a hero, but a lot of times you're wrong and you jump on something during the Asian session that looks really obvious, and then the next morning you go and you go and look and it's completely reversed off what it did overnight. Because again, those sessions have completely different goals. The traders have completely different views on things sometimes, not always, but a lot of times. And so stay in your lane. And if it's a potential, especially if it appears to be a potential trend change, just be very careful. If that trend change appears to be happening during the Asian session, just be very careful that if that's going to follow through into the next day's London and New York session, because oftentimes it doesn't. If you're getting a trend continuation or a correction happening during the Asian session that's going, it looks just appear to be corrective against the larger trend, that's fine. That's actually great to see, because it's quite possible that you'll be able to capitalize on that and, get in on a nice pullback area. But when you see this kind of stuff going on where you're seeing, big, bullish candles, no wicks, and just everything closing near the highs, what we're seeing now on the Swiss yen and dollar yen, just be cautious about that, because, we have seen that here on this downtrend, right? We had this big bullish candle right here, price went down. We had this big bullish candle here, did start, it did have a wick on it, price went down. We had this big one right here, closed at the highs, went down. We had this pullback here with, at least two really big bullish candles with small wicks, price went down. Okay. And then we had this one here, again, a big bullish candle, followed by another one with a more decent sized wick, but again, price collapsed. So is that all we're seeing right now? We're just seeing basically just time for price to pull back and then roll over and go south again? Quite possibly. So just be cautious of that. And we'll see what it does during the London session and New York, which is when I like to trade this stuff. I'm not going to try to pre-guess it right now. But I did want to point it out because it is interesting. And, and again, if it does turn out that it's going to be a change in direction and a new trend just starting to the upside on these, great. That's perfectly fine. But we've got a long way to go on this. If we're going to reverse over here and go higher, there's no need to rush into it. Wait for a decent pullback and then, take the long that way. To jump on a moving freight train, in this case, to the upside, especially during this time of day, is not smart. So So don't be suckered in by the FOMO and the the need to be in the market, because that doesn't usually play out well. All right. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it there for the night. I hope everybody has a great night. Make sure you smash the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. Leave questions and comments below. And I will talk to everybody soon. Take care. Have a great night. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay? Thanks.